Welcome to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe podcast. Relationship Bite is a platform for everything relationship. Mother-child relationship, father-daughter, siblings, sister-in-laws, parents-in-laws, everything you need to know about relationship. It is said that one of the most important needs of human is belonging. It simply means that relationship is as important as being human. I will be taking you on a journey of everything relationship. Join me, Wendy Ologe, every fortnight as we explore the intricacies of different forms of relationship. The positives, the negatives, the wins, the losses, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything else in between. And most importantly, the lessons we will learn from them. Relationship Bite with Wendy Ologe is your plug for real life experiences on diverse relationships and how we can maximize these relationships for the best. So you're welcome to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe, and today we have someone very interesting. You want to listen to her. She has so much insight. She's someone that I say have a lot of insight, and she's going to be our first guest in 2022. Yay! Don't you love that? Wait, before I tell you about my guest, well, let me just tell you a bit about, how I met my guest. My guest lives in Australia all the way, and you actually want to listen to this woman. So recently, something happened. She's one of the parents in our inner circle program, and I was listening to some of the things that she shared. I was like, where did she get all of this from? So yes, today you have Dr. Lola. She's a medical doctor, an autism coach, and she helps parents, children who have autism move from little or no words to language explosion. Dr. Lola, are you there? You're welcome.
Good day, Coach Wendy. I'm here. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. And thanks for the privilege to be your first guest on the podcast in 2022. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, great. And one of the things I didn't tell you about Dr. Lola is also that I work directly with her as well in the industry. You have a child who has autism, you're struggling. Yep, you have the right person right here. So we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence. Dr. Lola, we've been reading about emotional intelligence in the academy this period. We've been, it's our month of emotional intelligence, really. So I just want you to share in your own understanding, your words. What do you understand by emotional intelligence?
Okay, thanks, Coach. For me, emotional intelligence is the ability to be able to name and express your emotions in an appropriate way. Emotional intelligence is that, even when someone speaks in a negative way to me, I keep quiet, with it my inside. That's not emotional intelligence. Emotionally intelligent is that at every point your feelings or your emotions, express them in an appropriate way. That is what it means to be emotionally intelligent. So the fact that you keep quiet when someone does something that that is wrong or upsets you, but you're upset and it bothers you, emotionally intelligent. So you must be able to express your emotions, whether you're happy, I don't like the way you spoke to me, I felt this way, I would appreciate if you can treat me in this certain way or do this. You can name your emotions in an appropriate way at every point, and that's what it means to be in control. That's what it means to be emotionally intelligent.
Yeah. Amazing. I told you that my guest has so much, so much to give you. So in your work and daily life, Dr. Lola, how has emotional intelligence impacted on your work, and the things that you do, your relationships and everything that you do on a daily basis?
Wow. Emotional intelligence, I've come to realize is an important skill that forms the bedrock, of your day-to-day life. Before I joined the TIP inner circle, I didn't understand the concept of emotional intelligence. I would have thought, like what I shared earlier, that being quiet when someone says something that you're upset means that you're emotionally intelligent. But now I've come to see, the concept of emotional intelligence impacts every aspect of your life. It's a skill that you need to thrive in every aspect of your life as an employee and as a parent. Because the truth is that there are so many other things that you want to, as a parent, for example, you want to impact your kids, you want to teach, but you need your emotions to be under control to be able to effectively do this. So emotional intelligence is the foundation of everything. Even with the work I do with the clients, sometimes you have different kinds of personalities, but if you're not emotionally intelligent, people come at you, even on social media, you see the way people respond, the way people react. But when you are emotionally intelligent, you can even come from a place of empathy. You understand that this person herself or himself is not emotional intelligence. So for me, emotional intelligence helps you to stay in control. You can think it through before you react or before you respond. So it's a higher functioning skill. It's not easy, but at the end of the day, if you're able to control your emotions, you're operating at a higher function because you are actually in control of situations or things and how you respond. Thank you.
Amazing. So, I was saying something recently about the parent that I met, and I was telling the parent that there are just some certain things you would never be able to think through. I was sharing an example of our conversations about the recent conversations in our level 3 inner circle, where we've been talking about what should be done at what time, the seasons of life, like Dr. Lola called it. And, I told someone, I said, it is taking us about 1 week, and we're still having that conversation. We're beginning to realize that everything is not something we need to be in a hurry to talk about. There are things that you need to now sit back, and talk about it. Sometimes people tell you things, it hits you differently, not because of what they said, but because of your experience. Your husband says to you, can you just stay home and just take care of this child or none of that? You say, what is it? It's not coming from what he's saying. It's coming from your past experience. And emotional intelligence actually teaches you to stay in tune with that past experience, and you're able to actually come in contact with yourself in the now. So many times we're not triggered by what is happening in the present. We're triggered by what is happening in the past. And we're constantly reacting. So sometimes when people share some stuff on social media, I refuse to respond. Sometimes it hits me differently because, if it's hitting me differently, I know that that's not a time to respond really. I take my time, read the sentence again, think about it. Sometimes I brood about on it like 2-3 days before I come back, to it. That's one thing that emotional intelligence has helped me myself do. But let's talk about, a bit about overwhelm and stress management. I know that you just had a baby, you have a coaching program, you walk around, in Australia, and, your medical practice, everything all put together. Sometimes I'm actually, very intrigued. I've also had people come to me to say, Coach, how do you do it? Oh, you do this, you do that, you do that. How do you, how are you able to put it? I would like to hear from you. How are you able to navigate your life, working as a mom, as a wife, and other responsibilities? This is midnight, your time, and we're recording this podcast. And hey, so tell me how you're able to do this.
Okay, thanks. Like what you were talking about now, emotional, to be able to do some of these things we're talking about, Coach, emotional intelligence is part of it. Some people, it's so easy to think that any small thing, I've not slept, the baby, this and that. No, like we said, I think over time, even though I'm a night crawler, and I think that's what medical school has done to me. Like, most go to medical school, we spend hours really through the night most of the time. And we because we did that for so long, it becomes a part of our life. So naturally, I'm a night crawler. But even at that, I think over time, I've been able to identify what are the things I need. Some, like we're talking about seasons of life. There are some things that you just need to do them. So there's no point, being all over the place. No, looking for systems and understanding myself and what works. As much as I can get overwhelmed, but the tendency that for a few days I've not had enough rest and I've seen a little bit of stress. So instead of being all over the place, and look for time, I can just get back to them. Like, okay, I identify things that relax me. I have things that I do that can help myself to relax. They may not be the conventional things like people watch African Magic or Big Brother Nigeria. I don't do that. That way, I just relax. I take time for myself. And that's what about emotions. Sometimes I can tell my husband, I just say, please, I need to, I want to get some rest this evening. Can you just help me out with the kids with this? I've put certain things. Not that I'm shouting on my husband. You don't know. I'm going to work. You are not. No. I don't do that. I name my emotions. I want to get some rest. I need some rest this evening. Can you just help me with the kids? Or I want to sleep in the morning. In the morning, I can just tell my husband, please, can you help me attend to the kids in terms of I just need a little bit of time. So how do I manage stress? There's so many things to do, but let's be honest. Like I was talking about navigating seasons in a woman's life. It's all, you have to do it. It's part of the season of life that I am in. I'm a mom, yes, and I have to take care of my family. It's part of the seasons of our lives. So most of the time, like we say, a lot of people were not prepared. So it's so easy to get overwhelmed and you're lashing out on your husband and so many other things. But no matter how the overwhelm is, without emotional intelligence, you can't effectively communicate with your spouse. So when you're emotionally intelligent, you can communicate how you feel. You can ask for help. If you're not emotionally intelligent, you cannot ask or demand for the support and the help that you need. I name my emotions, and I'm not demanding in quote from my husband, but I'm expressing myself and I ask for the help as much as I can get. So that's how I manage my stress. There's so many things to do, but it's a season in my.
We've been talking about how emotional intelligence affects. We've talked about how in your work and your daily life, how it has impacted you. We've talked about overwhelm. I was going to ask you how you distress after a busy day, but I think you have also responded to that while you were talking. All right. But tell us about a time where you had to navigate a stressful situation in a professional environment. How did emotional intelligence come to play? In your practice, all the things that you do. How have you been able to actually, put that into perspective to work it out?
Wow. If you're in the medical field and you've been there for a while, there's no way, one way or the other, you would have faced some challenging situations. And you've come in contact with different kinds of clients or patients or even relatives, so many people. And of course, I've been in the medical field for a while, even from Nigeria here. So I have faced things like that. But what I know, the first thing is, and that's when we talk about empathy. I tend to empathize most times. So I would hardly just react. Fine, have people done things that I don't like and that upsets me? Yes. Okay. So as long as it's not a danger zone or situation, like someone trying to attack you, that's not the time to say you want to empathize. I've never really had that. But people reacted in unpleasant ways, yes. So how do I manage? I come from a place of empathy, and I realize that most times in the medical world, when someone is sick or their relatives are sick, they are going through a lot during that period. And part of the emotional intelligence also is that you can look at somebody and understand the emotions they are feeling and try to empathize and think beyond the reaction you're seeing. So part of what you learn in your training is also to be able to interpret what someone is communicating that they're not saying. So sometimes some people just want to be heard. Some of them also lack emotional intelligence to name their feelings. So what I usually do is, most of the time when someone is reacting, I first of all to think through it. It might just be that they themselves are overwhelmed. Sometimes just take a step back, listen to them, reassure them, empathize with them. It doesn't mean you're going to compromise on whatever you're trying to say medically or that is the standard. No, just empathy, and most of the time, you will see most of them apologize to you. Of course, you'll be firm. If you think that isn't inappropriate, excuse me, don't use inappropriate. You do those things, don't compromise. I don't compromise on those ones. But I would not lash at you. Even your silence sometimes upsets some of them. But the truth is that they themselves are not emotionally intelligent, or they are just going through a
turmoil, a time.
You have a parent, for example, that has a child that is you have a parent that has a child that is ill, and they bring the child on admission, and you have to give the child medications and stick needles into the child before you get a vein. It can be really, you have to do your job because you're trying to help the child. But imagine the parent might feel like you're traumatizing their child. And so that's also why communication with your patient in the medical field, or whatever you're doing, your clients, ability to understand your clients, understand their own season.
And where you currently think your emotional intelligence is there a part where you get to and you say, yeah, I have arrived at my emotional intelligence? Is there something, is there a counter? Do you think that there's a level you get to and you can actually pat yourself on the back and say, I don't need to learn any other thing about emotional intelligence?
No, coach. Emotional intelligence is a journey, it's not a destination. So you can't say that. Right, as you keep going different and you keep learning and becoming better. It's journey. So I don't think you can get to a place of like the TIP inner circle, emotional intelligence course, something we should take every year. So you can't get. I don't believe that you get to a point where you are, you don't need. You have achieved it. No, it's a journey, and you can always improve on what you know. It's a daily work.
Yeah, I think everything about learning is a journey generally. And the moment we understand that we're on a journey, the moment we understand that we're doing things, we need to do things differently, it makes a whole, lot of difference. And what would you tell parents, who doesn't get this emotional intelligence thing? Sometimes you talk, they're like, what are they talking about? Emotional intelligence every time, everything. What is it? How does that, what words would you have for them?
I would tell every individual that the truth is you need emotional intelligence. When someone begins to challenge some narratives, to me is an evidence that you don't even know. And to be honest, especially with our generation, the way we were raised, a lot of people don't even know. They can't even, let me say, if you cannot even begin to identify errors in how you were raised or your journey up to this point, then there's a problem. It's not about pointing our time. You have this word. When you're trying to identify, they'll say you're judging. It's not about judging. Is that identify errors in how things are being done so that you can improve on it. So it's not about saying that and judging our parents or judging that generation. No, that's not what it's about. Like I was talking to someone and she said, oh, you're also a parent. We're not all perfect. How will your own children too? I said, I'm not afraid for my children to assess my parents in years to come. I'm not trying to be an infallible parent. I want my parents to improve on whatever I have done.
Yeah.
They can the thing can they improve. So emotional intelligence is this. You need it. Let me tell you something. When it comes to certain fields, you might think a co-parent coach, what is just a parent? No, a parent coach is an expert in that field. So if they're telling you something, before you deal it out, first of all, even examine it. We have a thing of judging things we don't understand. When you don't understand something, when you are quick to even attack and judge it, it shows me there's a problem. So every individual needs emotional intelligence. I'm telling you, if you think you don't need it, you need it the most. That's already
an indication that you are the one that needs it.
Exactly. Anyone telling you that you need something that will help you as not just a parent, as an individual. Don't attack it. Take it first. The worst that it will do is it's going to make you better. That's the you don't have anything to lose. So every parent, you can't parent effectively without emotional intelligence.
Very true. Very true.
Parent cues are just things that are tangible. I think that's one of the challenges. People will be okay. I can learn how to make care. So intelligence, so emotional intelligence. Because people so to as helping, and in your parenting journey and every area of your life, so it can only be experienced and not be told.
Very true.
Yes, I advise everyone that we all need it. We all need on this journey as individuals, and our generation. We need to change a lot of narratives. We need to better. We need to do better, and as a foundation.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're listening to Dr. Molola, and you're looking forward to having her come back, because there are a lot of things that, I actually want to hear her share on. I think we're going to bring her back to share on the seasons of life. In fact, that conversation, I want to have it in a podcast with her. It was so aptly presented. In fact, I called it a masterclass. When I listen to her share. That conversation is a conversation we need to begin. All right. So I'm going to bring up Dr. Molola again to the podcast so that we can have this conversation before, we have the International Women's Day. I think it will be a good time around that period to actually have this conversation again and again, on motherhood and all of that. But before we go, I'm going to ask you some quick questions that are going to answer in flashes. Jollof rice or fried rice?
Oh, any day, jollof rice. Still make jollof rice tonight. Nigerian jollof rice.
So heels or sneakers?
As a mom now, sneakers. Maybe before heels. Not now. The season I am now.
Netflix or sleep?
Oh, sleep. I'm not a Netflix person. I'm not.
Yes, obviously. Obviously. Music or movies?
Music or music. I'm not a movie person.
E-book or audiobook?
E-book.
What do you do for fun, Dr. Molola?
What do I do for fun? Okay. Let me see. I have my own things that I like, though. Let me see. To be honest, not typical things. I like to read. I do a lot of religious activities for fun. I don't know, things that may not be fun to other people. And I love to give back. I think that's my idea of fun. Be able to give back.
Oh, nice.
So my typical birthday now, for example, since I was young, is not to have a party. I usually organize outreaches, and that's my idea of fun and fulfillment. So I don't know. I know it's weird, but
awesome. Awesome. Yeah, some of us impact people like to is usually like that. But I think as we also begin to move, we begin to find some of those things that we would want to do differently. All right. So I guess the idea of fun for impact people is a lot more different, and I'm sure any impact person listening to you would be able to connect. All right. So that was Dr. Molola. Dr. Molola, in a few minutes, can you just tell us in a few seconds, tell us what you do in your area, with people with autism, children with autism, and their mothers. I know that you work with moms, and their children who have autism. And what exactly do you do? Just give us a tip so that when people are listening, our audience who have children who are autistic would know that, yes, this is the right coach for them.
Okay, so what I do is I work with moms of kids diagnosed with autism, and I provide them with tools, with strategies, and with skills to help move their children from little or no words to language explosion. So basically, I'm empowering them with the things that they need to help their children navigate their speech and language journey and begin to thrive with language explosion. So that's what I do.
Amazing, amazing. So you heard it. This is Dr. Lola. And, I usually, my conversations with her during our coaching sessions, oh, yes, I mentor Dr. Lola, something I'm really proud to say. And many of the times we're talking about, some heated conversation that you don't hear anywhere. That's how I know that someone is sent to me. So it's usually when we connect on that level where you can understand, Dr. Molala, those conversations that we can have outside. We're still looking for how we can
not ready to have.
Yes, I'm still looking for how we can begin to bring out some of those conversations, but it's hard. They are hard thoughts, and it's only when you get to a certain level that you'll be able to understand some of those conversations. Thank you for your time. I don't take for granted all the way from Australia. Dr. Molala had to stay awake to record this, with us. Thank you so much for coming live. And we'll see you again. We're going to bring you again to the podcast so that you can share a lot more with us. So if you want,
I'll be happy to be back.
Yeah. That's nice. And if you want to find Dr. Omolola, just look up for her on social media, Dr. Omolola, right? Okeowo. All right, Dr. Lola?
Yes. My page is Dr. Lola Okeowo, okay. And my timeline is Omolola Okeowo.
All right, great. Dr. Lola Okeowo. So just put Omolola Okeowo and you would be able to find. If you can't find her, send me a chat. I'm sure you'll be able to find her directly from me. All right, thank you so much for coming, and see you again in another fortnight. And this is Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe. Thank you for listening to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe podcast today, where we share real conversations of diverse relationships and why they are important to human beings. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to listen to more, please subscribe to the Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe on your preferred podcast player. Share this with others, your friends and family. Post about us on social media. Leave us a rating or a review. To keep up with our conversations online, you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Podcast by Wendy Ologe, or follow my personal page at Wendy Ologe, both on Facebook and also on Instagram. You can also catch my videos on YouTube, Wendy Ologe. You can also follow us on our Parenting Academy, where I share about parenting relationships, the intentional parent. You want to learn more about us? You can simply search us out on www.wendyologe.com, or you can email us podcastbywendyologe@gmail.com. Thank you again, and catch you next time.